sit. Good. Boundary training is very important, and one of the ways that I got him calmer was by having him wait at every boundary. And that means that I have him sit, I step through just to accentuate the fact that, hey, this is my boundary, not yours. You're not going to drag me through, you're not going to race through after me. We never call him out of a downstay or sit stay because we want him to stay calm. We don't want him to get anticipatory. So he knows, hey, he's waiting at this boundary until he's allowed to walk through with you calmly. Okay, see that? See how he's not pulling me through? Come on, this way, buddy. If you have to, you can just do a little prompt. And then there's another gate here. Sit. This is our front yard here. And I'm going to come back out as well. Just show you, it's a double gate, so we get 2 boundaries we get to practice with here. Okay. And then I'm going to do a little left turn here. Close this. Sit. Because it's really good to be able to have him sit and then open a door. Most dogs are triggered to pop up when the door is opening, so of course we're going to practice having him stay in a sit stay before we open the door because that's harder for him to do, therefore it's more beneficial with his training. So he waits. Okay, this door we won't do that with. Sit. Same thing, step out, step back. Okay, sit. Very good. And right here, okay, I'm going to do a little left turn. If you have to close the gate yourself, it's a great opportunity to do your little left turn, which of course every time you do that, very subtle but important move, he gets a little dose of dominance. You're in charge when you do that. And then we're at the curb. Can you back up a little bit for me? Sit. And if he ever doesn't respond, I'm just pulling up with a little bit of pressure. There's a cat under my van, which you probably didn't see, but right there. And so he's interested in that little animal under the van, but that's why he hesitated there. But he knows he has to sit at the curb. This is something you practice every day. And of course, wherever you're going, if whoever's handling him does the same thing, he'll easily click into this at a new curb, on a new street, at new gateways. But of course, somebody has to do it. If they don't do it, he'll slip back into his old behaviors. He'll be dragging whoever it is through the doorways. And, you know, he'll be missing out on an opportunity to, well, they will be missing out on an opportunity to keep him calmer. Just because you have to go through these doorways and you have to go through all the boundaries and gateways anyway, so why not spend an extra couple of minutes a day having him stop and wait, and then you get all this calmness, and then you can release him to be free. Okay, which the way I do it is I cross the street. And we're going to go in that direction, so I'm going to have him sit, and then just release him from a sit stay out here, which is with your right hand. He's on your left, of course. With your right hand, pat his chest and say, go. And he's free, and then we can take the rest of our walk in a relaxed way. And this is the way we do our walks, and he gets mostly free time, just on, you know, free time on a leash, on our walks through our neighborhood. The leash is, of course, always loose. We're never letting him drag us. It's never like this. We're never doing this. He's never dragging. What people may not notice when they're walking a dog is that they anticipate he's going to pull, and so right when the walk starts inside your house, people are doing this, and that triggers him to pull. So if you start off the walk the way you saw me start off in the gateway, that could easily have been your front door as well. Of course, we do it at the front door too. Then you start off, you take control from the second you put on the leash and have him wait at all the boundaries. By the time you hit the street, hit the sidewalk, and you release him to be free, you have this, no pulling. And if you really pay attention, you'll see that's how it starts. The person puts the leash on and starts doing this, he starts to pull. So however you want him to be, you have to start the whole interaction with just putting on the leash from a position of strength where you're in control and you're having him do his stuff. It doesn't take physical strength to do that, it just takes focus, and from the second you start doing that, you have him sit and do a sit stay and all that, and then you're in control and you're not just trying to like catch up with him and struggle with him. So it's really important to start off the walk just the way you saw us do it here, and then you have this calmness when you get out on the street. Here we are in a very public place. And I just wanted to show you how he does his commands with a lot of distractions, how calm he stays in the presence of a lot going on. I don't know a busier place than this. And even though he thinks that everybody is his friend, good. That's his problem. I don't know if that's a problem, but anybody that approaches, he wants to go say hi to him, but he knows he's in a sit stay. So he's got a real solid stay, and I rewarded him for that. That lady walked past. Here's somebody else is coming. Well, maybe not. So I'm going to release him now. Go. He stayed there while they walked past, and I gave him a reward, as you saw. And then to release him to be free, I just tapped his chest and said, go. And now he has a couple of free moments. And we're going to go back farther into the store where there's even more going on. Just practicing his calmness in a place where there's a lot more going on. And if he does something like that in a place where there's a lot of distractions, you can give him a treat. Just stand back next to him like this. Make sure he's looking at you. See how easy it is? Just put the reward by your eyes and reward him straight down. Good, like that. He's actually looking in my eyes as I give him the treat. Really avoid this kind of stuff where you bend down, he waits for the giant hand to come out of the sky, and he's looking over there, wherever else. Seems like a little thing, but just really paying attention to you. And no, make sure he doesn't do the prairie dog thing. Good. He's paying attention to you. He's looking at you as he takes the treat. It's a little thing, but it makes a big difference. It really could, you know, when I do that, he knows I'm really in charge. It's a very dominant place where I'm above him and he's getting a treat from me. Whereas if he's just waiting for me to serve him, I become his valet the other way. So how you reward him is really important. Okay. Down. Since we're in a place where there's so much going on, just kind of pan your left into your right for us, okay? Show all the people that way. So there's a lot going on. You saw I said D-O-W-N and he kind of hesitated, so all I did was I lifted my left foot like this and I didn't really even touch the leash. I didn't have to. That's what you want to do. You don't ever want to repeat a command, and of course he's never going to be off leash in public, and you should not do training until he's really solid. This is only 3 weeks worth of training. He's really solid. Ever do off leash training, because of course we only do that with dogs that are absolutely perfect, that don't make mistakes anymore for the most part. So for a while still, while you're learning how to do these moves, you want to see if he gets up. Nope. See how I step into him? There's a lot going on here, and he was distracted by something. I stepped into him. All I did was just go do this and put him back. I said no. I didn't even say D-O-W-N again. So that's what you do if he makes a mistake. And I'm just going to walk around both ways, just a basic downstay for him. And then he gets a reward because he's doing really well. Good. And we're going to move on. He's waiting for you to come back, stand next to him, pat your leg and say, okay. And then I'm going to have him sit and release him to be free. No. Go. And give him a little free moment in the store, and we'll film somewhere else in a minute. Here we are in another very busy place. It's right on the inside of the entrance at Home Depot. There's a lot going on. We sort of did a little warm-up where we did our clips in a lesser busy place. Now this is the busiest, craziest place, and he's in a sit stay. And just to show you what we practice every day. And he may make a mistake, and I want to show you what he does if he does make a mistake. You can go wherever you want. We're not even here.
Okay.
Good. I'm giving him rewards for this because he deserves it. This is difficult. If he gets up before you release him, you say no. Do your little circle, gently but firmly put him back. And of course I'm putting him in extreme situations now, so I'm showing you how to put him back when he makes a mistake, because he still occasionally will make a mistake. There's no way you can control the outside world, obviously, and who knows what somebody would do or how many people would go past or whatever, so he may pop up, but when he does, you just put him back just like that. Good. You basically reset him. He does it successfully, and then you release him. Just wait until these guys pass. Okay, and then you move on. Good. That time you saw I didn't have to help him with my foot. And I'm picking a very busy place here with lots of stuff that will be rolling past us probably, like that. See how he looked at it, looked back at me? You need to be there to, good, reward him for that. Most of the time he'll notice the distraction, but instead of popping up or going over there, he'll notice it, he'll look back at you, and if you're there to do that every time, that would be perfect. If you want to go somewhere, you could go wherever you want, doesn't matter. If you want to walk somewhere. And practicing in a situation like this, where there's a lot going on, is really good for him, but you need to be set up for success. So bring your rewards and do it just exactly the way I'm doing it. If you can't, if you're not prepared for this, then there's no need to practice, the perfect down stays and sit stays like I'm practicing. Just do short ones if you need him to sit or down. Do real short ones, and then release him before he makes a mistake. We're making it longer and making it harder for him, of course. Good. No? See how he started to pop up? He's starting to do that better now, where you just say no from a distance and he goes right back. The reason I don't say down again is because every time that you repeat that command, you're diluting the power of that command, of course. And a dog would become desensitized to you saying down, down, down all the time, or sit, sit, sit. So there's another word for him breaking out of a position before I release him, and that is no, which is a common word that rolls right off our tongues, of course. But that makes him go back to where he was before, and he knows he's going to wait until I actually release him. So he's doing really well. I'm going to give him a reward. Good. He's anticipating, and of course when you reward him and you step back towards him like that, he thinks that he's about to get up, and so that's the most common time for them to kind of jump the gun and get up before you actually release them. But you have to really make sure that he's really waiting for you. It's really important that he really waits for you until you actually give him the command, okay, and then sit, because you see what happens when he's really excited, when there's a lot going on. He's going to pop up out of a down and run off. That's why the way we do it is he's still on the clock, we have him sit, and then we release him from a sit stay, which allows a little bit of that calmness to stay in there. Go. He still wants to go over, there's a bunch of people over there he wants to go say hi to, of course. He's so friendly. If that happens to you, you can always say, come, call him back to you. Good boy. Get him back on the clock. Sit. Have him sit next to you. And then leave that wrapper alone. Okay, and go in the other direction. We're going to practice calling him away from distractions here. Really is interested in going to say hi to people. He always has been out in public. Come. Good. See what I do? I grab the leash with my left hand. I've got my reward in my right. I step into him, get him out of there. That's usually what somebody's going to want to do with him. Sit. I'm going to have him sit and release him again. Go. So it's left hand leash, just this loop over your wrist. There's no way you can lose it even if you let go. Your left hand is actually free to grab the leash when he comes to you, and your right hand has the little reward in it. And the reason that we use a target, the fist as a target, is because he doesn't know that there's nothing in there when you need to do this, and you don't have a reward on you. And also, since we phase the rewards out after 5 weeks or so, for the most part, it doesn't matter anymore. He just has no idea why he loves to come to this. But you should practice this a few weeks on your own as well until you phase the food out. But right now, I can phase the food out completely. Come, and he'll come to me wherever I go. Good boy. You just love him up extra for that, and he doesn't even miss the fact there's no food there. So after me calling him to me, come, for 3 weeks straight, good, with food, and then starting to phase it out, good. It works every time. That's 2 times in a row. Here's a distraction. Come. Oops. Good. See how it works? If you teach him the way that I show you, and he's already taught, but if you keep handling him in this way, you'll have just the best recall ever. See, he has no idea why he wants to come to this target now. That's 3 times in a row with no food. He still loves to do it. I just replaced the food with a real life reward, petting and affection. And of course, isn't that what you want him to think anyway? Is, hey, I want to, whenever they say, come, sit, then I'm going to race to them because they just want to give me good stuff, you know. And if you have a treat, that's great, but you don't need it anymore. But you know, if you have a treat, that's great. If you don't, just always use that fist target, not a half open hand or anything like that. He's going to see it's empty. Use your fist, he'll always come to that. And also, you notice that I always back away. Come. Always back away, because when you back away, the dog's drawn to you. Good. And it's all about how you teach him that matters. We've all seen people that have a recall where the dog kind of walks over slowly or half the time doesn't come at all. And that's because they weren't taught the right way. So since we know that moving away, when you move away from the dog, he's drawn to you, you always back away. It makes him rush to you. And then later on, when your back is up against a wall or something, and he has to come to you, I'll create a distraction. Hey buddy, look over here. Hey, create a distraction. Come. Good, he's still going to come right back to you even when you can't move backwards because of the way that you taught him. So it's about how you teach him that matters and how you practice it that matters. So always back away and he'll rush to you when you're practicing. And then in a crisis situation, when you can't back away and you don't have any food and maybe there's not even a leash, he's always going to come running straight to you. So that's why we practice the recall this way. Okay.